Just want to make sure we got the word out that there's been a time change on Saturday's game. I think the game's at noon, and it had originally been at a different time, but it's at noon on Saturday. Eastern Kentucky's a team that has our full attention and respect. They're really well coached. They got good players. They got a freshman guard. It's about as good as any freshman I've seen. And then they return a big kid in the middle who was an all-conference player in the Ohio Valley as a freshman. That'll be, in my opinion, the best big that we played to this point in the season.
With that big guy for that team, what have you thought about your post defense so far? I know you do a lot of rotation and help side, but just how those big guys guarded.
Yeah, we're going to have a different kind of game plan, guard him different ways. He's a good player. He's skilled, shoots the three, scores inside on both shoulders. So it'll be a nice test for us this early in the season. We'll need different players to step up at different times. It'll be a team strategy to defend him. It won't be one player's responsibility.
Are you talking about Nick Mayo on that? He's number 10.
Yeah, super player.
6'9", he had 20 points in his last game. He's a pretty good player. Then what about the junior college transfer from McLennan, Asante Gist? Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, very athletic. I remember watching him play in junior college. He played for a really good coach, Coach Gill at McLennan in Waco, Texas. So he's a player that we're familiar. I was pleased that he's having some success there, pulling for him, but not pulling for him on Saturday at noon.
Talk about Isaac Malone. He's the 6-foot guard, the senior guard. Is he a pretty good outside shooter? He was perfect from beyond the arc in his last game.
Yeah, they have good balance. They've got 4 or 5 3-point shooters on their team. And they have the all-conference big, so it's a nice team with talent, and then they're really well coached. They set up different things on offense and defense. They played well in their early season. They're 1-1. I think their loss was in overtime, though, to an NCAA tournament team.
Coach, they were down by 17 points in the first half of their last game. They ended up going to overtime with it. Does that help you as a coach, seeing that you can see some things that they can struggle with when they went down, and then also see what they use to get back into the game?
It's early in the season. You know, that's kind of the cool thing about college basketball. There's a lot of strategy going on. No one's really shown their hand yet. I'm sure Eastern Kentucky has our 2 games we played. We have some film on them, but I think everybody still has a lot new going on. So you expect the unexpected in early season games. You prepare, based on what they've done to this point, but you know that there's going to be a lot of new things coming into play.
Speaking of the new season, new players for your roster here as well, are they starting to get your system the way you want them to get it, or are they meeting that expectation for that?
Well, it's a process. Our team's a work in progress. It's kind of like a coaching cliche, but it's so true. Like, we've got to get better today in practice. I thought we got better yesterday. We got to get better today. With each day, our team has to improve. One thing we really believe in is, we have 16 players on our roster. 12 are active to play this year. But if every day in practice those guys will just get 1% better, maybe it's a little bit more attention to detail. Maybe it's playing a little bit harder. Maybe it's studying the scouting report a little bit better than they ever have. If each player just gets 1% better, then our team gets 16% better. And that's really the beauty in basketball and in all team sports is, the ultimate goal is for your team to improve, but to do that, individual players have to improve. So that'll be our emphasis again this afternoon.
When you start working in practice today, is it going to be, with regards to getting them ready for this game, is it a situation where you've just got to do what you guys do better, or is there some wrinkle that you're going to have to prepare for?
It's both. Definitely you got to take care of your team. That's above all. Any coach, if he had the choice between his team improving or preparing for the opponent, you would choose your team. But then there's also an art to preparing as well. So we have a lot of respect for this opponent on Saturday, and we're going to have to play well in what's going to be a tough game. There's a lot of distractions coming with Thanksgiving break and things like that. But, the goal here is to play well on Saturday, period. And I think our guys understand that. I hope they do, that there's no looking past this game. This is a quality opponent.
Coach, Devin and Anthony both tossed about getting back on transition defense and stopping him in the first 8 to 9 seconds. Is that team speed, or is it their passing or combination that poses the problem?
Well, I think that was North Texas based. They're really good in transition. Eastern Kentucky has some of those same qualities, but that's true with any team. If you look in basketball, where the most mistakes made or where the most fouls are committed are early shot clock, which I like to call first down, or late shot clock, which we call fourth down. And so really to be disciplined and tough enough to play early, and then to be disciplined and tough enough to play late is really a sign of a good defensive team.
Coach, you were
talking about the distractions with not only going for Thanksgiving coming up, but you also have your first set of games away from Lubbock. How do you manage to keep the team focused on Eastern Washington rather than the distractions that are coming?
Well, it starts with just our culture. We pride ourselves in being truth tellers. It goes without saying, but we don't try to come up with motivational ploys or fake stuff. I mean, it is what it is. We've gotten ourselves to 2-0. We set it up. We have a 3-game season to start the year, and then it'll be 3-game season with the 2 in Cancun and the 1 when we get back. So in this first season, we're 2-0. We have an opportunity to go 3-0. We have to stay focused in that. Really, that's what life is eliminating distractions in a lot of ways, whether it's be social media or all the outside voices and stuff. Elite people that know how to win, can focus at the task at hand. And I have a lot of confidence in our players. We have 6 seniors and 6 juniors. We're an experienced team. And I hope that experience, correlates into us being mature enough to understand that the most important game on the schedule is the next game.
Got time for a couple more?
Coach, what does Eastern Kentucky do well offensively that can allow them at times to reach 80, 90 points in a game on a fairly regular basis?
Yeah, it starts with their talent. Again, they have really good players. There's a lot of balance in college basketball, and that's what makes March great. It's why you see these teams that some people refer to as mid-major. I don't really know what mid-major means. I know that when I was coaching at different levels, I got 13 scholarships. You try to get the best players you can. It's the same at every school. And so what you're seeing with teams like Eastern Kentucky is they got good players. They're legitimate basketball teams. I think that's because there's so many players out there this year, and there's a real balance in college basketball. What makes them very dangerous offensively is they have an attack where they can play outside and in. Again, an all-conference big guy. As a freshman, all-conference in that conference speaks for itself. His numbers speak for itself. He's a talented player. And then they also have very good three-point shooters. So whenever you have to defend the three-point line and inside, it's very challenging.
One, apologize if you've, I guess, talked about this, but the status of Dorrance, and also just in case we don't get a chance to talk to you after the Eastern Kentucky game, thoughts on Auburn as well.
Yeah, no apology needed, man. You've been supporting us for a long time. Appreciate everything you do. So Lawrence, basically last year, had the unfortunate injury where a bone in his foot broke. Did a great job rehabbing, getting back to help the team late in the year. And so just a real crazy injury. It's basically the same type injury to the other foot. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, but we hope that he'll be back soon. I can tell you this, he's attacking the rehab unlike I've ever seen. Literally the next day back, he was already back in the weight room, back trying to keep in great condition. We want to try to set up a plan where Norrance, as soon as the doctors clear him, he's back on the court helping us. We really tried to avoid the transition period of him getting back in shape and stuff like that. And he's shown a lot of individual maturity so far, embracing the rehab and trying to stay in shape. But we hope it's going to be, sometime around the 4 to 5 week time frame is what we've been told. But, with injuries, I'm not a doctor. But I do have a lot of confidence in Norrance, and our team needs him. We're going to do the best we can to compete while he's out, but certainly he's a big part of our formula for success as the season goes on.